Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mattel Jurassic World Dino Trackers review. Today we're taking a look at the new gigantic trackers, Bistahieversor. Mattel loves cranking out obscure species of dinosaurs, and Dino Trackers has been full of obscure species. So I was really excited that they did Bistahieversor. It's a type of Tyrannosaur, even though it is probably one of the weirdest interpretations of a Tyrannosaur I've ever seen. But yeah, this thing definitely has some character to it. Now, I ended up getting this figure from Amazon. I'll leave a link down below in the description if you want to order one for yourself. It's also kind of cool that we are getting another Bistahieversor figure this year, not from Mattel, but from Beast of the Mesozone. That one obviously is going to be the most accurate version of this species on the market. Collector did one a few years ago, but it's pretty cool that this obscure Tyrannosaur is getting some love. So let's go over the package really quick before we crack open this weird ass looking figure. We got the Jurassic World logo down here, painted in blue, mercifully covered up by the tail. This comes from a desert biome. I wish Dino Trackers had a little bit more lore to it. Dino Trackers logo down here. Spinning around, we get a picture of how the gigantic tracker action works. And over here is a picture of the other gigantic tracker, the previously reviewed amazing Elasmosaurus. So that will do it for the packaging. Let's crack this figure open and take a closer look. And here is the Bistahieversor of the packaging. And what a weird looking figure. It's cool that we got this obscure Tyrannosaur species from Mattel. Mattel just seems to reach in the hat and pull out random dinosaur names like, yep, we're making that figure. But yeah, really weird looking figure. The whole body is this light cream color. And then you have some paint on the back of the tail, black with those red splotches. Really don't like the paint swirling that's going on with the legs. It looks like a little kid got some like watercolors and just brushed it over the figure. It makes the figure look really cheap with those plastic paint swirls. Some other figures have suffered from that, like the Samosaurus. But yeah, I do like this figure. It does have a lot of character to it. Those quills on the tail are absolutely gnarly looking. Definitely did not have those in real life, but it's a really interesting take. I do like the Mattel figures for their bizarre takes on some species. And we get the dino tracking gear, for a line called Dino Trackers. There's so few dinosaurs that actually come with tracking gear, so it's always nice to actually get the figure with the gear. But all around a really interesting looking figure. And now for some quick measurements. This figure is 14 inches long from the tip of the tail to the tip of the snout, 35.5 centimeters, and about 5 inches tall to the top of the hip, so 12.7 centimeters. So Bistahieversor in real life was around 30 feet long or 9 meters. So I'll put this figure in the 125 scale range. Now let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure, starting with the head. Yeah, like I keep saying, this is a very interesting looking figure. I think that cream color really takes away from all the details and makes the figure look very flat. You can see a lot of nice scalation on the head. You have some large osteoderms and spikes above the eye. The eye is painted green with a black slit pupil. You have big goofy ass teeth along the mouth. They go almost just past the orbit, which is inaccurate. I just think that just makes the dinosaur look really goofy. You have smaller teeth inside the mouth, and then inside you do have a nicely textured tongue, all cast in pink plastic. Even the roof of the mouth does have some pink in there, and it just tried to bite me. Here is a view from the top. You can see that black plastic swirling with that cream. It just looks terrible. I don't like it at all. I think it really takes away from the figure. You have some black splotches on the top of the skull. Lower jaw is cast in, it looks like black. It's more of a really dark navy blue color. You have some large scales peppered throughout. You get some more large osteoderms and spikes all along the neck. Some of that dark navy blue paint for some striping. There's some more spikes over here, and then going down to the arms, you have the classic Tyrannosaur two-finger look. The hand claws are not painted in. And then go down to the body, more of those awful looking swirls. I absolutely can't stand it. It looks like a kid just colored this thing and you found this thing in a dollar bin at a Salvation Army. It really takes away from the figure. And here's a view from the top. Those are the buttons for the action feature, which we will get to a little bit later. And then going down to the body, you get some nice scale detail all over the body, some large osteoderms all over the thighs. Toe claws aren't painted in. They look really bland with that cream color. And then going down to the tail, all painted in nice black with these red splotches on there that add some, definition to this figure. And then you have all these funky looking quills on the top. It didn't have quills in real life, but I do really like this interesting take on Bistahieversor. I think the quills add a lot of character. And then let's pull the legs back and pull up the scan code for those who don't want to scan this into the Fax app. So yeah, a pretty weird looking figure. I mean, I do like it, and there's a lot of things I don't like about it. It's like 50-50 on me with this figure for some reason. Now let's take a look at the tracking gear, for a line called Dino Trackers. I've been bitching about this a lot. During this series, so few dinosaurs actually come with the tracking accessory. They pulled the same crap with Dino Escape with so few capture gear. I just really wish there was more accessories, kind of unify all the different size classes of figures. So let's take a look at this. It is cast in a very soft, flexible brown rubber. You have some nice ammo pouches along the side, coils and wires connecting to the front piece, all around really nicely detailed accessory. Let's spin it around. We do have an optic. It almost looks like a laser sight on the side of this front piece right here. Some more coils and wires. We got some plates and rivets on there. Really, really cool looking accessory. Wish they add some paint to them, but it is a very soft, flexible rubber, and I just think that paint would crack off. But it would be nice if they just had some color mixed in instead of looking like just a big brown rubber accessory. Now for articulation, there's really not much articulation. Most of it is tied to the action features, but the forearms can move forwards and backwards. They are on a hinge, so you can swing them out. The hind legs can move backwards and forwards, and there's a locking point here, clicking to keep it in that neutral position. You actually do have some ankle rotation. Have not seen this in a while on these newer figures, but you can also have some articulation with that, and you do get a hip pivot to help with stability. And now for the action features, there are two buttons on the back that you can just press down, and the first one will make the head go up and down and snap by holding it down. You can keep the mouth open. It's a decent working chomping action. And the other one for this side, the quills actually flex together, which I think is really cool. I think that's a cool little feature. I know Bistahieversor having quills like this is not accurate, but I still kind of think that's kind of cool that these quills do go back and forth. So yeah, decent action feature on here. I like the quill action better than I like the chomping action. Now, moving on with comparisons, here it is with the Hammond Collection Robert Muldoon. And next up, let's do it some smaller dinos. Here it is with the Hammond Collection Pachycephalosaurus. And here it is with the Hammond Collection Gallimimus. And next up, here it is with the previously reviewed Nigersaurus. And next up, here it is with the Hammond Collection Metriacanthosaurus, and it shows if Mattel puts their mind to it, they can produce really good-looking theropod dinosaurs that aren't goofy and wild-looking like the Bistahieversor. Both these figures cost roughly around the same price, and what a night and day difference with paint apps and just the look of the figures with the Hammond Collection versus the main line. And next up, here it is with the gigantic tracker Elasmosaurus, which they're both in the same wave, but the Elasmosaurus is by far the more superior figure. It's actually one of the best mainline figures ever produced from Mattel, and it shows that there's still some magic left in the main line. And next up, here it is with the Dino Escape Pentaceratops. Bistahieversor and Pentaceratops did share the same ecosystem. This one is obviously a repaint to look like the Beast of the Mesozoic Penta. And lastly, here it is with the 93 Classic Real Feel T-Rex. So final thoughts on Mattel's take on Bistahieversor. This figure is kind of a mixed bag for me. I do like, the quill action feature. I do appreciate Mattel's wild takes on some species, but just the color scheme on here with those paint swirls and that cream color really take away from the details on this figure. It makes it look very plain and cheap looking. I do like the dino tracking gear that it came with. So yeah, this one is definitely a mixed bag for me. Now, like I said at the beginning of the review, I ended up getting this off of Amazon. The link is down below in the description. So that will do it for the review. I still have more new stuff coming in. Got the Holland Good Apatosaurs coming in soon. There'll be a special new figure reveal on the channel little at the beginning of this month. I think some people probably know what company that's coming from. So stay tuned for all that. And as always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.